Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 901. Hello, it is Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway here at the last place on earth, located somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Today it's the return of the much-loved news feature. All right, News Random, where we look at some interesting stories about how our language is changing thanks to the contribution of women. Plus, we hear from Madame
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley, and I enjoyed Aladdin.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
When it was initially released, I was recently compared to another podcast, one that is not where I am on the podcast charts, which is last. It's called Comedy Bang Bang, and it's got sass. I just know the TV show, but I got tired of it pretty fast. I guess all the contemporary comedy has to be gross in order to be funny.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Maybe then I should get you to laugh by killing a bunny.
Mike's
Thanks, South Park,
Daily
for making so much money
Podcast.
off the frat humor of the white people, guys under 35 of America. Oh, but it's cutting humor about current events. Yeah, okay, you're so right. I agree. Passing gas is a current event. That's why you should leave the room. Oh, stop, please. That wasn't necessary. By the way, did a quick check. They've only done 363 episodes on Comedy Bang Bang. I've done 901. Can you believe that? Thank you. That's not necessary. Okay, it is because I got low self-esteem. I have mentioned before on this show how I think that millennials are, they're called millennials because they can speak to each other using mind speaking techniques, mind control, and they can speak to the stars. In short, I think they're super people. That's why they're all into Comic-Con and gaming. And I work with, at my job that I do in the mornings, with a guy who's in his 20s, and he doesn't play. He watches videos on YouTube of skinny, emaciated-looking white guys, white men with glasses playing video games. They watch this, and I realize, oh my gosh, the roommate that I used to have that moved to Chicago that I never heard from again, that hosts a podcast that I've plugged many times, even though he's never listened to my podcast, he also used to watch these sort of... I don't get it. All right, when I was a kid, and I'd go down to the video arcade, is what we called it, and I would look over the shoulder and watch people playing the Star Wars game or playing Dragon's Lair. That was my favorite because it was a cartoon that had, I think you controlled it like kind of like a laser disc situation, you know, like when you're in the menu of your DVD, and the different choices that you made would take you on different parts of the DVD, laser disc, whatever they had in this machine. Anyway, Don Bluth did the animation, same guy that did American Tail? What, Feifel? That thing. Whatever. Anyway, that was... I used to watch him play that and other video games, so I can kind of see why people would... The graphics are, of course, a gazillion times better now. It's like you're actually watching a movie. But, and I don't know, maybe you find a guy that's hosting the show that you relate to, a particular white, alien-looking being, gangly, long limbs, looks like he just came off of a spaceship, that's playing these video games. Maybe that appeals to people. I don't know, but they have trillion, bazillion, I can't think of a number of people that view their shows on YouTube, and it blows my mind. I think I've had, so far for my podcast altogether with 901 episodes, I think I had a quarter of a listen to one of the shows. So that's good. Thank you. Oh, once again, not necessary. You're so nice. So that is definitely a generational thing that I do not get, but whatever, more power to you. Maybe at some point I will understand it. And it's just strange. I was trying to think of what's something that I, as someone in his 40s, does that maybe the younger generation would not understand. The only thing I can think of is that I occasionally listen to a Michael Bolton record. What? Nobody does that anymore? Mike, that was like, I should not have revealed that about myself. Ooh. Okay. But he had an interesting, soulful sound. Nobody liked Time, Love, and Tenderness? When love puts you through the fire, when love puts you to the test, nothing kills a broken heart like everybody. Time, love, and tenderness. Oh, that was great. Didn't that feel good to do that? No? No. Anyway, many a podcast has launched and has ended after like 4 or 5 episodes. I have continued on to 901. Many an internet radio station has launched, but because they are not consistent and because they don't, let's say, properly keep people that work for them savvy to what's going on, and they demand way more out of the people that are working for them than they're paying them, which is nothing, which is literally nothing. It was free. I did a radio show for free, and then they said I wasn't doing enough for it, even though I was spending an hour and a half working on it every day. More time on that than this podcast. But I'll go into that more in a later show. Look who just walked in.
Hello, Michael Matthews. This is Madame Rootabega, and I feel like I was just here.
You were on the last show celebrating the 900th episode.
Yes, Michael Matthews, I am so impressed that you have done 900 episodes. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, it's amazing how we got to 900. Now it's 901.
Yes, Michael Matthews, 901.
Uh-huh. You have a lovely accent.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, Madame Rootabega, you're magical, you're whimsical, you're a magical mystery tour is what you are, and you impress me. So tell me, what bit of advice would you give to the world?
I would say be happy with yourself. Even if your name is Bruce Jenner and you want to be named Kate with a C, that's completely fine. You should be accepting of yourself, and everyone should accept you as well. Judgment should not be held by anyone, no matter how much you hold a little black book over your head and judge other people.
Wow, Madame Rootabega, that was profound.
Yes, Michael Matthew, it was.
Wow, you lived forever, you've been around all these years. Yeah, you know, it's funny because I like I've mentioned before, I help around a radio station. I help in various technical capacities for a radio station that happens to be very Christian in its it's stuff that it puts on the air. And when Bruce Jenner became a woman, there was all kinds of judgment flying around, which is completely hypocritical because the great book says, judge not lest ye be judged. In fact, I believe there was a specific spiritual figure in our history that said those words, judge not lest ye be judged. So I hope all those guys, those white men that are hosting shows on that radio station that I help engineer and produce stuff on are not, well, I hope they're ready to be judged, because they're going to be judged like crazy. I already know I am. I'm accepted it. I'm like, oh darn, I've judged someone else again. And, oh yay, Judge Markert from Cure for Gravity just texted me. Yee-haw! He is going to be on the next show, celebrating the 902nd episode. And he is an amazing singer-songwriter. Ladies, he's a very handsome male. Caitlyn Jenner, he's a very handsome male. And so I'm going to write him back and say, yay, how about, who needs the A in about? Wednesday sometime. Thank you, autocorrect. All right, let's send that off to him. You know, what was I saying?
Michael Matthews said white men are so judgmental.
Yeah, the white men are so judgmental on that radio station that I'm on. Now, I don't ever see these men, so I can't really say that because the shows are sent to us from like churches and things, and so they're not actually in the building. But if I did see these guys, I would probably have to say to them, you know, guys, what the heck? You're judging. You know, maybe there's a whole lot about Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, that you don't know, and that you should shut up. But this is my podcast, and I don't have to shut up. But actually, I will, because I think we've exhausted this topic.
Michael Matthew, I think so too. Who's coming in next?
I don't know. Let's see, the door's opening, and look who else just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the packing. Of course it's us coming in. We always come in after she does. I'm the packing attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, Kim Kardashian better not turn into a guy. That's all I gotta say, D.
Yeah, that'd be a real waste. Do you know that?
That's funny that I haven't heard any. I know women were so nuts about Bruce Jenner in the 70s. He was like a total heartthrob. I haven't heard any of the women say what a waste, that we've lost a hunky male to the to become one of us. I've heard no women say that, but maybe because they didn't want to. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, Mike, we love Trump, D.
Yeah, Trump is the best. He tells it like it is. Do you know that?
You guys don't really believe that, do you?
Well, no, but it's gonna be fun to watch this guy's head catch fire, and he's gonna just go down in a ball of flames there.
Yeah, he's gonna crash and burn. Do you know that?
Does anyone remember 2012 when he ran? And he was actually out ahead of all the other candidates. It's because of the media factor. He knows how to milk the media, and the media just follows him like a lapdog. So yeah, he's having his moment of fame, and he's using it for all it's worth, saying the terrible things about Mexicans, terrible things about John McCain even. He said that McCain was captured, so he's not really a soldier. Like, come on. So anyway, that guy better watch out, because he's judging, and lest ye be judged and all that stuff.
That's right, Michael Matthew.
And so I think we've exhausted this topic. Oh, but yeah, Comedy Bang Bang. That show... it's a funny comedy TV show, very off the wall. I love off the wall, as you can imagine, but I'm just getting upset with all the humor, the bathroom humor. Joe Marker just texted me back and said, I'm in the car all Wednesday en route to Salt Lake, so I could try and do it from the car. Oh, wouldn't that be awesome to talk to Joe Marker of Cure for Gravity from the car? Yes, I will say, from the car it is. That'll be fun. Cool. All right. Looking forward to that. So that'll be happening next show here. On Mike's Daily Podcast, Mike'sDailyPodcast.com is where you can go to find where you can listen to the show in iTunes. Rate and comment on the show there. If you do that, more people find out about us. You can also send us your comments too via YouTube and Facebook. And Joe Markert said sweet, and he spelt it as in a suite of a hotel, which I never buy. I never rent the suite because that's too expensive and I'm cheap. What else? Don't listen to me anymore on that Connecticut radio station. I'm basically off the air there. I've done several shows for them, and the guy there, he keeps deleting my shows before they play on his radio station on the internet in Connecticut. So I guess that's done. But you can also hear me, though, for sure, on the very professionally run country station, Country Crossroads Radio. I'm on that weekends playing a huge variety of country, even playing some Americana and bluegrass as well. So listen to that weekends. The link to that is there at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com, as well to tell where you can tell your friends about us through our Instagram, Yelp, and Tumblr. And Joe Marker just wrote me again and said, I can send you a new mix of black metal to include. Ooh, he's got we've played black metal before on the show, but he has remixed it. And I'm excited to hear what he's done with it. So I'm going to write him back and say, absolutely. I wanted to write abso-freaking-lutely, but it just auto-corrected. Yes. All right, so you can also email us, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. And you can comment on the Twitter and the Facebook. Twitter is @MikeTalks. Facebook is facebook.com/Mike's Daily Podcast. And we read your comments in the section emails from email and your calm and not so comments. You can also hear us on YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, Podomatic, Mixcloud, Spreaker, Player FM, and Ameristream Live. And you can also help us out. Our PayPal, if you want to help us out there, and you can, by doing that, become an inglorious Mike's Daily Podcaster. And you can also, if you're going to buy anything on Amazon, go through the link at mikesdailypodcast.com. Whatever you buy, that helps us. We get a little bit from that as well. It helps out mikesdailypodcast.com. There's also the blog and the daily podcast picture, and the past interviews that I've done are there as well. And now, a little bit of fascinating news.
News Random.
That is the song Talk by the band Best Girl Athlete. And this is random news stories here. Yes, everybody knows that a language never stays the same. Today's English speakers could no more chat with an old English speaker than a German speaker, and even people in old movies sound increasingly strange to us today. This according to the New York Observer. Less intuitive is that this kind of change is driven to a large extent by women. Given that men have unfortunately always been disproportionately powerful in most societies, it is hardly unreasonable to suppose that language too jumps to men's tune. Yet in modern societies, especially the difference between how people talk from one decade to the next is mainly due to what women start. Men just pick up the scraps. One example is something utterly unnoticed yet spreading like kudzu: young women hanging an at the end of words and sentences. How are you, a woman might say upon happily running into friends. Have you heard that? I've been hearing that for a long time, but you have plenty of room, Sarah Hyland, Haley's objective on an episode of Modern Family. Oh, Sarah Hyland, yeah. The girl with the big eyes. Haley from Modern Family, she said on a recent episode. Note that the surely wasn't in the script. Ms. Hyland, an American woman under 30, subconsciously added it. But that is true. The thing that I hear, it's always younger women doing that. This author by the name of John McWhorter said, I have also caught it from Gina Rodriguez on Jane the Virgin. Shut up, she said playfully, and various young women on Broadway. Because this is a New York paper, by the way. Just listen for it the next time young women are talking casually, or if you are one, listen to yourself. American English has a new kind of verbal exclamation point, and women got it going. Or there is uptalk, the tendency for people to make statements that sound like questions. An iconic example is Allison Hannigan in American Pie with her "one time" in band camp. It sounds like questioning, but actually enforces conversational clarity. With uptalk, one checks on an ongoing basis that you and the other person are on the same page. What is funny was when I see the young hipster males with beards doing that, and I'm like, dude, you sound like a, girl. You sound like Allison Hannigan from that movie. And then, actually, I've noticed, too, people from New Zealand, they do it a lot when they're talking. They talk like that. Anyway, maybe it's happening so much that you don't even notice it anymore. Questions can be like that, statements in disguise. When you ask someone piling on the salt, how much salt do you really need? You aren't asking for an amount, you're telling them they use too much. However, It's where the language has gone in terms of actual speech rather than Sunday best language. It only took a hold starting in the 80s, and research shows that women have been the main initiators. The media have chronicled women's leading role in language change here and there, but tend not to get the essence of it right. We read, for example, of women initiating trends in speech. However, any analogy with things like hemlines falls apart, given that these trends are often become, as it were, hymn lines. Men pick them up, upon which we can truly say that the language as a whole has changed. John McCorder says, listening to my students at Columbia, I would be hard-pressed to think of uptalk as feminine, given that it is now as likely from a deep voice as a higher one. We will likely hear men doing the no-uh by around 2030, he says, if not earlier. Things are the same with the hedging brand of like that drives many people crazy. Ugh, I'm guilty of that. I hate like, but I do it. It's been around forever, though. Women were the main initiators of sentences such as, we were like the only ones there. This began in the 70s. However, these days, in some of the ways that like is used as a hedge, men actually use it more. Like art, food has always been subject to trends simply because it's inherent to human nature to drift into new habits, some of which catch on. Aspic, then, that I don't know if you've ever seen aspic. It's like the gelled juices of a meat. Now it's kale. It's something else now. Kale is not quite as popular as it used to be, but Gould then instead of gold now. People really did often say it that way long ago. Gould instead of gold. Gould is how it's written here. John McCorder teaches linguistics at Columbia University and is the author of The Language Hoax, Why the World Looks the Same in Any Language. As far as written language goes, oh, by the way, that is the band known as Strange Relations and their song You Talk. Hey, so written language, a series of carvings found on a pillar of limestone in the mountains of southern Turkey, could be the world's oldest written language. The ancient pictograms, which were found at the ancient city of Göbekli Tepe in southeast Anatolia, Turkey, are thought to be around 12,000 years old. Experts believe this could be representing a sky burial because it features a human head on the wing of a vulture and a headless human body below. A sky burial was a ritual where bodies are left out on the mountainside for scavengers to pick the bones clean. The practice actually still takes place in parts of Tibet. This according to dailymail.co.uk. The obelisk also has images carved into the rock of the figures of cranes and scorpions. Dr. Muslim Erkin, director of the Sanliurfa Museum and head of the excavation, said the scene on the obelisk unearthed in Göbekli Tepe could be construed as the first pictograph because it depicts an event thematically. This is the portrayal of a moment. It could be the first example of a pictograph. They are not random pictures. He said it appeared the pillars are providing information about ancient burial traditions. Göbekli Tepe, or whatever it's called, was first discovered in 1963 on a mountain ridge about 7 miles northeast of the Turkish city of Sanliurfa. During the excavations, archaeologists have unearthed circles of large T-shaped stone pillars, some towering up to 20 feet high. Around 200 pillars were found in total, in 20 circles. Some of the pillars were found to have been decorated with symbols and carvings of animals. Now archaeologists believe these could be early pictograms. Pictograms are considered to be a basic form of written language using pictures to convey meaning. And wow, looking at the map here of where they found the ruins, it's near a city called Batman. I'm amazed DC Comics hasn't bought that city up yet. It's Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Istanbul was Constantinople. Now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople. Been a long time gone. Constantinople now.
Amazing news random there. As we go outside of Cafe Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Well, the podcast picture is a picture of me. I hope you like it. I hope you're not turned off or disgusted by it. And I'm not sure exactly what picture I'm going to use of me, so I think I'm going to use the one from the soccer game. Does that sound good? Yeah, let's do that. This is when I was dating a girl who was into soccer a year ago. I don't understand what the heck happened between the two of us. All I know is she became extremely annoying to the point that I was like, you know what? I'm not even married to you. Why am I investing the time? Is ridiculous. I am out. Goodbye, Audi. Gone. Would never drive an Audi, but I'm Audi, and it's gone. So, yes, she's married now, as I've mentioned before. That was a year ago I was dating her. She got married like a couple months after that. Some guy who's also bald. So, I don't know. Can you explain it? I can't explain it. Madame Rootabega, can you explain it? You seem to know all.
Michael Masu, I cannot explain it. I will not judge her because I don't want to be judged. But I guess I am going to be. She sounds like a nut. Ooh.
Yeah, probably. But, so next show, Joe Markert. Looking forward to that. From the band Cure for Gravity. Very nice guy. And he's going to be en route to Denver, Colorado for a show. He's going to be performing there. This is going to be fun. And we're going to hear new music from them. And we are going to also hear from Shelley Shuhart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!